doing an intro for us. All right, good Saturday morning to you people. We're back again here on Sports Chat. I'm Herman. We got John. John, what's up, man? What's
What's
up?
going on? What's going
How's
on, baby?
everything?
Back to back to
Huh?
back to back to back to back to back Big Ten champions, baby.
Wait, what? That's one too many, ain't it?
Nah. It's just giving you a taste of what's to come.
What's to come? Okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Go
All
blue.
right. They not gonna be on probation or nothing.
Honestly, as I expect some sort of something from the NCAA, but I don't expect any wins to be vacated, which that's what most.
Well, I mean, and how can they do that when they had the coach suspended?
Well, I mean, that was the Big Ten's response. You know, that has nothing to do with the actual NCAA investigation, which
I really think is redundant. The fact you got all these layers to the point, right? Don't come back. Don't come back 3 years from now, right? When Harbaugh's in Chicago somewhere making $30 million, with a penalty. Don't come back in 26 with a penalty for 23. Who cares after that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think, Ohio State fans, because I'm on a lot of these pages on social
They're
media.
crying. They're
So
crying.
they're crying for these wins to be vacated, only because it helps them cope better with the losses. And I know they were hoping that Ohio State won 2 weeks ago because they were ready. They were ready to say, see, y'all can't win without cheating. So I'm saying to all Ohio State fans that might be watching, what you got to say now? No Connor Stallions, no sign stealings, no Jim Harbaugh on the sideline, and y'all still lost. What y'all got to say
and
now?
they're crying. Ryan Day's got to go now. Oh, he's lost 3 in a row. Who else you gonna get?
Well, I don't, I think, and
I mean, of course, we all know, and I asked an Ohio State fan the question that I asked you about what's more important to you, the Natty or the Michigan over Ohio State victory, and their response was the same as yours. They would rather have the victory
they
over
wouldn't
Michigan
be.
instead of the national
But
championship.
again, the reason why I say that is obviously, there are. You wouldn't be a fan of the rivalry if you didn't choose a win over your rival. But again, also, and I think this scenario, which we can talk about, played this scenario this year is the exact reason why when I told y'all a couple of weeks ago that I think the national championship is more mythical than actual factual, because you got a team that was 13-0 that won their conference championship, defeated every team in front of them, and got shut out of the playoff in Florida State.
Right.
So I
was going to bring that up, but since you went there already, give me your opinion, sir. Give me your opinion.
Well, here's the thing. Because they try to make they try to make the distinction between best 4 teams versus the most deserving 4 teams.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And that was
and you can't, in this format, you're never gonna be able to do that fairly.
Well,
without complaint.
It's only this. It shows the foolishness of only having had 4 teams to begin with. If you got 5 power conferences, Why do
Right.
you only have 4 playoff
Yeah.
spots?
And here would have been my, if you ask me, I love that. Because what I would, if I was over whoever set this up, what I would have done, the number one team, right,
Mm-hmm.
gets a bye,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, for being number one overall,
Yeah.
and then you have the other four
2 plays
play,
5,
and
3
then
plays
the
4.
lowest remaining seed plays the number one.
It should never, and we knew eventually it was going to come down to something like this. And I just don't buy it where they say, well, we got the 4 best teams. Okay, if this was about getting the 4 best teams,
Right.
where's Georgia?
Exactly. Well, and so here's the thing.
You don't think that
Because
Georgia is one of the 4 best teams, even with
right,
their loss
right.
to Alabama?
And so that statement of being the best team, the 4 best teams,
It's not.
that nullifies having conferences.
Exactly. Because, like, what are you going what are you having conferences
Yeah,
for? And I just think
correct.
it was a real cowardly move by the committee. Because Florida, I don't care what you think about their chances in the playoffs. That's not the point.
Not the
That's not
point.
the point.
Not
They
the point.
earned a spot in the champions in the
Yeah,
playoffs. I
yeah.
mean, I don't think what are you telling these young kids? We grew up all of the days you in hot Tallahassee, Florida. All the days that they got up during summer camp and sweat and all of that, and all it's for nothing. All of it's for they did everything they were supposed to do. Yeah, they
You,
struggled
you,
without their
you know you know
quarterback.
what you're telling them? You're telling them Florida State players or any guy playing football don't go to Florida State unless they're in the SEC or
Well,
the
that's the
big.
thing. That's the
Yep.
thing. And I'm like, what that's why when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, when I chimed in for the Michigan Ohio State game,
Right.
this is why I don't put off. I'm old school. Bo Schembechler's mentality was this: beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten, go to the Rose Bowl.
Rose
That was
Bowl.
his.
Yeah.
He didn't really care about the national championship
No.
because
No.
it's the national college football is a lot like figure skating. It's judges. It's a beauty contest.
Uh,
In the NFL, it don't care. The NFL don't care nothing about no style point. A 50-point win is no different than a 3-point win in the NFL.
correct.
I don't
Correct.
have to impress no committee. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? That there's no style point. But with college, that's why it's not a real championship, because it's
Well,
an invitational.
and here's your to even strengthen your point when it comes to Georgia. What you're telling us, or what you're telling college football, is that Alabama, because when it comes to head, we know that Texas beat Alabama. But what you're telling us that the Alabama win now was better than the Texas win against Alabama
No, and it
back in the
should
second week.
exactly. And I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody say. ESPN is in bed with the SEC. That's
Well,
what it
because
is.
listen. You're exactly right, because starting next year, they have all the SEC rights, because
Yeah, yeah,
SEC is not going to be on
yeah.
CBS anymore.
This was not a. Uh, 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 this was not them saying we needed the 4. If it was truly about the 4 best teams, then Georgia would have been. They got Georgia as a 20-point favorite over Florida State.
And
That's what
what did they drop down to, though? How you go from
Georgia
number one to what?
to number
Yeah,
5. No, number
5.
6.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. No, they number
yeah,
6.
so
And you
6.
know what they
So
did?
and
They
who was
put
5? Oh, Florida State was 5,
Florida
right?
State is 5.
So in other words, you win your conference, right? You win your conference, but you stayed where you were. and the number one team lost. And
I just think it's
Alabama, who was what was they seventh?
eighth.
They were eighth. So
Nobody had ever
went
jumped that
you
far.
went from 8 to 4.
Yeah, nobody had ever jumped that high in the
Yeah,
history of this
yeah.
playoff.
No, makes no sense.
It's so blatantly obvious what this was about. It was, again, they just could not fathom a playoff that did not
Without
include a
an
team
SEC
from
team.
the SEC, and
Yeah.
just admit it. I
Well,
can't just be
and
honest about
listen,
it.
John, here's the really punch in the gut when it comes to the ACC conference, right? Other than the SEC, in the last 5 to 10 years, the winners of the chip were from the ACC.
Of course they were. Clemson, Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah.
So you're telling us, what you're saying, those wins weren't really don't mean much.
And I just, it's just with the advent of the NIL, the transfer portal, and these political playoff committees, I just think the sport is headed in a bad direction. And because it's all driven by politics and money. It is not about what happens on the field. It is not. The playoffs should be Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State. Those should be your 4 playoff teams. The SEC, we can survive without the SEC. Good Lord, it's okay. It's okay. That's why I'm people
and my thing too. If you feel that the SEC win was greater, or Georgia's win, Alabama win is greater than the Georgia, then maybe Florida State should have got in over Texas since they lost. You know what I mean?
Florida State should have got in over any one-loss team.
Yeah, no doubt about
any one-loss team.
Yeah, and like you say, you put TCU in last year because they were undefeated.
Yeah. Well, no, they lost their conference championship game, and they still got in.
You're right, they sure did.
And they still got in.
Kansas State still got in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like there is no rhyme, and that's why you can't.
There's no rhyme or reason to this.
There's no rhyme or reason for what they can just do what they want to do with no. That's why. This is why I think, for me personally, they said Michigan scared of Alabama. We all saw the gasp when they announced that Alabama was at 4th seed.
I don't think that wasn't a gasp of fear. That was more gasp of like, are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, I just think this is why I think it's important. And I think the Big Ten, including Michigan State and Ohio State fans, should be behind. And this would probably, if this was Ohio State or Michigan State, this would be the one instance where them and for the conference. I think it's extremely important for Michigan to win this game because this SEC favoritism and bias got to stop. It has to stop. Seriously.
Well, and if you notice too, the Big Ten is always matched up in the semis against the SEC instead of championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like, okay, we got to knock them off.
Yep.
To make sure the SEC is in our championship.
Yep. They're going to guarantee a SEC team.
I mean, and I just love the fact that the few times when Clemson smacked them, Florida State won, and so what do we have here, guys? What we got going here? You know what I mean?
I just want it's important for the Big Ten they got to stop this, and the only way they're going to stop this SEC bias is if the Big Ten steps up and defeats them.
And here's the thing, John. When it comes head to head in the bowl games recently, though, the Big Ten has fared better in the other bowls
Yeah,
against
yeah.
SEC than in the playoff. So
But
your conference is only really the big two.
well, yeah, I think that what matters, what will make it really, what will help the Big Ten's cause. Yeah, you can say that we've had success in the smaller, game, but
Yeah.
the Big Ten's best needs to be able to take on and defeat the SEC's best, mano y
Well,
mano, strength
I,
against
I
strength.
I'll say it. I'll say it. Because just for the fact of conference, we do need Michigan to come through.
We do.
We do. We can't. Uh, our
I'm
conference
sick. I'm
champion.
sick of this SEC
Listen,
bias.
our
I'm sick
conference
of it.
champion, other than Ohio. Oh, and let's not forget, when if it wasn't Clemson or Florida State, it was the Buckeyes
It
that
was
won
Ohio
the
State,
national championship
and they
too in
beat
the playoffs.
Alabama
But
in the semi.
and they beat Bama,
It's
right?
important for
So
Mich.
again,
This
but
is important.
basically, it's not your history doesn't count. It's what can I do for you lately?
Yeah, I think for
When
me, and this
uh,
this is this game is as important for Michigan as it is for the Big Ten,
oh yeah,
because
no doubt. Going
Michigan,
forward,
we have to prove that we've proven we can beat Michigan State and Ohio State and
well,
Penn
I
State.
mean, and think about it though. Think about it now. If it's so despairing now, can you imagine when they go to 12?
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about the 11th and 12th team. This was a travesty this year because you only got four teams.
Yeah,
You
it's just
this
terrible.
the
Absolutely,
11th
absolutely.
and the
Because
12th team, they don't have
you're
all right.
telling you you're telling the other players on Florida State, y'all don't count.
Y'all
It's
don't
all about
matter.
your quarterback.
Y'all, it's a
Yeah,
one-person
yeah.
team, and y'all don't matter. Forget how good
that's
your
that's
defense
what you're
is.
telling them.
Forget how good your
Yeah.
defense is. The fact that you held Louisville to 6 points. Forget that. Forget that. Because you're missing your core. It was a cowardly
Yeah,
move.
no
It was
doubt.
a cowardly move by a cowardly committee, and they deserve all of the heat that they're getting right now.
Is there on the committee itself? Is there anybody on the committee uh from SEC?
From the SEC, I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
Boo Corrigan,
obviously there's no ACC people on there.
no, Boo Corrigan, the chairman of the playoff committee, he's from the ACC. Coincidentally,
Is he?
he's from the ACC.
What school?
I'm not sure. I think he's the
Was
ACC.
he's the
The Big
is he
Ten. Like,
commissioner?
I think he's the commissioner, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, and so here's the thing. So again, that's going to be their standard. Well, our commissioner's from the ACC, and you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, he trying to not, but
So
it's
they're going to use that as a well. Our commissioner from the ACC,
listen.
and he was
I'm gonna
fine.
tell you.
He voted to keep him. You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna tell you what it was. The ESPN has a contract with the SEC. This is
Yeah,
what
coming up
it
next
was.
year,
If you look at
exclusive.
if you look at if you look at all of the ESPN hosts, I'm talking from Stephen A. Smith to Shannon Sharp to all of Kirk Herbstreit, they were all singing the same tune about the SEC getting in. All of them. I believe they got the orders from the higher ups to say, listen, promote the SEC because
Drive
we're
this
going
nail
into
home.
business with them. Drive that thing home. And I think that's what happened with that committee. There was no reason why the SEC should not have been left out of the playoff this year. And it ain't about being
Yeah.
scared to play the SEC. It's about
No,
doing
not at
what's
all.
right.
Not at all.
It's
Not at
about
all.
doing what's right. They were
I mean,
not, they did not
and
earn it
just the
this
fact
year.
of the matter is, anything is possible after not playing for 2 to 3 weeks. There's no momentum from anybody.
Yeah.
So you know,
And then Florida
not that
State.
I root for for the that other Michigan team. Is it Western or Central? Eastern? Well, no, Eastern is next to this other place. Well, anyway, yeah, they need to show up. They need to show up. Let's
They
show
do,
up.
and I think it's very important for Michigan to win this game for many reasons. No, you got it. Like I said, you've proven that you can beat Ohio State. You prove
Is it?
now you got to prove you can take the next step against the big boys from other conferences. Or if you don't, you gonna continue to get the same criticism that you've been getting that you can't win on the big stage. So they have
Well,
to.
you know what the joke is going to be is that what was the guy named that was traveling around?
Connor Stallion.
Kind of who?
Connor Stallions.
Yeah. What all of the emojis and everything is going to be that Connor Stallion didn't go to any SEC game.
Well, I mean that I think we match up with anybody on offensively, defensively. I think we match up with anybody.
Well, the one plus for this other team in Michigan, they have a great offensive line.
Yep.
And they run the ball. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, yeah, everybody's slinging the ball across the yard, but if you can control a game with the run,
you saw it against Ohio State.
Great
that last drive when they bled 7 minutes off of that clock.
Makes a difference.
That's what you do.
That's because none of these defenses are geared for the run anymore.
And listen, I don't think this, for all the talk about the brand name of Alabama, I don't think this is a vintage Alabama team.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
When everybody say, "Well,
listen,
they beat Georgia."
As a matter of fact, it's a must. Hear me good, Mr. Bull. Sit up straight. Sit up straight. I need people to see that M. Hear me good, Mr. Blue. You all have to smack them in the mouth early. Don't let them get the lead because you guys aren't really you got to come out and smack them early, and that's the game.
Yeah, we're not a come from behind team because we haven't had
you're not a come from behind team, and Alabama will make mistakes if they are behind.
Yeah. I don't for all of the Milroe, he wasn't great in that Georgia game. Number one. And number two, everybody talking about they beat the number one team. I don't think that Georgia was as good.
Was really number one. No, Michigan should have been number one.
I don't think they were that team wasn't nowhere near as good as the last two Georgia teams.
Yeah, no. That's right. They were number one last week. Michigan.
Yeah, Carson Beck. I don't think he's as good as Stetson Bennett. I don't think their defense was anywhere as good.
They're step below. Everybody really, other than Michigan, everybody was a step below themselves last year.
Yeah, Michigan brought the most back. They had the most experienced quarterback, offensive line. This should be our year.
Isn't it interesting too? Which you have to pay attention to nowadays. Transfer portal was the other day, and Michigan only had one person entered into the transfer portal.
Ohio State about nowadays. 13.
14.
Yeah.
They have 14. Then I think Georgia had about like 8 to 10.
And to Michigan's credit, they're still playing. They're in the.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
true. No, that's
they're
true.
in the playoffs.
That's true. When you're winning, everybody's kind of happy.
Yeah, everybody want to stick around when you're winning. So
and not only that, they are kind of a senior laden team as well.
Yeah, we lose 44 seniors this year.
So,
we lose 44 seniors this year.
So the other guys know that they have an opportunity, right? Yeah. When you see kids transfer, other than quarterback that was starting, when you see them transferring, they know that they may not even play next year either. That's why
Yeah.
they're leaving.
I mean,
Yeah.
depending. I mean, if you want to take a step down and go to the MAC or some, you know,
Depending on where
I
you
mean,
transfer to.
you'll play right away in a situation.
Well,
I'm young.
you know, because what I like about it though, it's in free agency, in the pros free agency, though you're a free agent, uh you may not be a commodity because you may not be what a team needs,
Right,
right?
right.
So for in the pros, they're not gonna spend money on somebody they don't really need. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's just not good
Mm-hmm.
business. And so even with the transfer portal, I'm not gonna go after players that I don't need.
No,
Right.
it's strictly there to fulfill a need. And I'm gonna be honest
Yeah.
with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was Kyle McCord, you know the team that I would consider the most. If I was Kyle McCord,
Uh-huh.
Michigan State.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're gonna bring what's the name from Oregon
I
State.
don't think so. I don't think so. I haven't. I
You don't think he
heard.
coming?
I don't think he's coming. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you're right. I thought
If
about
I'm
that
Kyle
yesterday.
McCord, I think Michigan State would be the perfect landing spot for him. It'll give y'all instant credibility. This go. Listen, I think he got a bet over three. He threw over 3,000 yards,
Oh yeah.
24
Oh
touchdowns
yeah.
to only 6 interceptions. Went
Well, and
11-1 as a starter at
this is
Ohio
what you have
State.
to. And nobody's saying this, but McCord knows what's behind him,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying, yeah, I was the starter this year, but yo, these dudes
Well,
on my
if
back.
you watch that press conference that when it got announced that Ohio State was playing in the Cotton Bowl, if you watch that press conference, somebody asked Ryan Day, "Is McCord the definitive starter going into spring
He didn't say
training?"
nothing.
And he wouldn't commit to it. And I think
Right.
at that point, McCord was like, "Hey, look, listen, for all the talk." He came closer to beating Michigan than CJ Stroud did.
Yeah.
If you really look at
Well,
it, they was
word
they was a minute
word
away from winning that game.
word on the street is too that Ewert is going back to Texas, and Manning doesn't want to sit any
Well,
longer under
they got a
Ewert.
crowded quarterback room. They got
Yeah.
Devin
Yeah.
Brown, who gonna want to play. They got Air Nolan coming in from this
From
wonder
Georgia.
kid from Georgia,
Right.
Lincoln, whatever his name. They got a crowded quarterback room, and so for him to say
Well,
he got to win this job all over again.
and it's interesting because you know the puzzles is like, okay, what is Lincoln Riley going to do if Caleb leave, right? Because I think he got somebody signed already, but if Williams come, and it's so great now because these kids aren't just jumping into the draft anymore because of the NIL. Oh, this is I like this kind of stuff. Actually, to be honest,
I think a lot of the moves, a lot of the transfer portal moves, is due to wanting to play, but also some NIL deals too, which now you're going to have to compete
well, yeah,
for these
because
players.
I think who was it that said I can't think who it was. They said that I don't really know if our school wants to spend $1 million for a quarterback to bring in a quarterback.
That sounds like an NFL franchise. You know what I'm saying? But first of all,
sound like a franchise to me,
but
John.
I'm not buying that because they have the money. They've always had the money. They've always had the money.
Yeah.
They have
Oh yeah,
raked
it's
in
there.
billions of
You know,
dollars off the backs of these student athletes.
John,
$1 million
isn't it
is a
sad?
tax write-off for them.
Isn't it sad to hear that type of comment coming?
Yeah, I mean, but I think
they're still trying to smack the students down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
It's long overdue.
To make that comment.
They have brought. Look at the TV deal that the Big Ten just signed. seven
Yeah.
something billion with these networks.
Yeah.
Stop acting like $1 million is gonna put you in the poorhouse.
Correct.
And between the
Correct.
TV contracts, then you got alumni all over the country donating all kinds of money to these schools. These
Yeah.
schools are swimming in money.
Yeah.
If a quarterback costs you $1 million, so be it. These schools are swimming in money.
Right.
Stop it, man.
Right.
I think that
Well,
I'm
we got quite a few people I see chiming in. I see Aaron Porter. What's going on, Aaron? I mean Andrew. Is on. Andrew's on. Jackie, what's up?
yo,
Odessa, how are
Jackie.
you? Rhonda Hunter from California is on with us
Oh
today
my
too.
God, I
Boy,
ain't seen her
she's
in a
up
long
early
time.
watching.
You up
What's going
early.
on, Ron? I just saw her last weekend. What's up,
Okay,
Ron?
yeah,
What's
I
up?
ain't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, she's still out there. She's still being a pest, right, Ron? she'll get me next time. I'll
But
find you a
yeah,
punch. It's all good. But yeah,
yeah.
so like they say, it's really stop crying the blues when you have the mean. Don't try to make the players still look bad. No, don't do it.
Well,
Don't do it.
of course, that's what they're gonna do. And again, I go back to what I said before about Shaq when he signed with the Lakers, and it was like the reporters was giving him all this grief about
Yeah,
120 million. He said, "What are you?" He said, if a guy can afford to pay me 120 million dollars, how much money you think he worth?
correct. And a
What,
reporter
why
can't
y'all
say
looking
nothing
at
because
us?
when their contract is up, because they're under scrutiny too, because they can't sign anywhere else until their contract is up. So that's kind of a slave deal too, right? You're not even supposed to negotiate
Well,
with
I
another
mean,
network until your
it's
contract is up.
it's just like when A-Rod signed that $250 million deal
For
with Texas.
Texas,
And
yeah,
he was like, it's not a person in this room that wouldn't sign that contract. Stop with all of this nonsense. Give me one person in this room that
listen,
somebody offered you $250 million to do what you do, that you would have said no. Not a person in this
right,
room that wouldn't have signed that contract. So get off these students. They ain't been these students have been professional for years. I remember when Chris Webber walked into a Foot Locker and saw his jersey and being selling, and he had to get lunch money from his parents. I'm looking at my jersey being sold in these stores for these amateur athletes. Yeah, if it's amateur athletes, y'all sure making a lot of money off of these amateur athletes. But y'all expect
off
it.
of my name and
I'm saying
likeness.
coaches they just offered Jim Harbaugh $11 million a year.
Can can the O'Bannon brothers get did they get reformation payment?
I don't think so.
Because I mean they kind of started this ball
They were the
rolling to where it is now,
trailblazers
right?
of it. Yeah. And it's like
Well, they did win their lawsuit, but I think they maybe do some reformation now.
they
Come on,
need to get
somebody,
and
do the
they need to
O'Bannons
give
up. Let's go.
they do that. They need to give Reggie Bush his Heisman back.
Give it back to him.
Give it back to him.
Give it back
Give
to
it
him.
back to him. Y'all know
Yeah.
they did it. They did these guys dirty, all under the guise of these were amateur. Please, there's nothing
You know,
amateur about these billion-dollar contracts.
years ago, when Lou Alcindor or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from New York City goes to California, UCLA, right? And the underlining was that John Wooden was able to get his father a janitorial job at the university. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
what a great cover though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't a booster type deal. He's literally on the school payroll. But come
the
on, we
fact
know
that you
who
have to
father it
do
is.
the fact that you had to do something like that just shows you how broken the system is.
Right.
Stop trying to
Right.
pretend like these guys are amateur athletes. Stop. These are professional. You just stop. These guys generate billions of dollars. The Michigan Ohio State game generated it had an average of 19 million viewers.
Wait a minute, stop, John. Wait a minute. How in the world can a Big Ten game, a Big Ten game, now, you mean that wasn't an SEC viewership?
No. And
Wait a minute.
Alabama, hold on.
No.
And then
Hold up.
Alabama Auburn only had 9 million viewers.
No, stop.
We had more than twice the viewership of Alabama
Iron Bowl.
I'm like, don't nobody care about the Iron Bowl outside of the state of Alabama. Don't nobody care about that.
You can't say that. That's SEC country,
Whatever.
boy.
They try to hype up the Iron Bowl. It ain't in the same. It ain't in the same neighborhood as Michigan, Ohio State.
You're such a homer. It's ridiculous.
I got the listen. I'm the biggest Michigan homer you're gonna find, but I got the numbers to back up what I'm saying. I got the numbers. 19 million viewers, bro. 19.
It's facts.
And at one time, they said at one point during that broadcast, viewership peaked at 22 million people. That's Super Bowl numbers.
Right.
You approaching Super Bowl numbers with those type of numbers.
No, but that's Big Ten. That ain't SEC.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like what the favoritism that the SEC. It's just ridiculous to me, man. It's the way they bend over backwards for that conference. It irks me to no end. That's why I really want Michigan to beat Alabama. For more than the fact that I'm just a Michigan fan, but I'm just sick of the favoritism that this conference gets year after year. How do you jump from number 8 to the playoffs?
Yeah, to number 4. Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, and you go from number 1 to 6. You drop 5 spots. 5 spots.
There is no rhyme other than, hey, we got to include the SEC. Nothing else has to make sense. Nothing else has to make sense. We just got to get an SEC team in there. We cannot have a playoff without an SEC team.
Ohio State went to what, 7?
Yes.
Yeah, so they dropped 5 spots too.
I think Ohio State even with their long loss was on the road to the number 3 team in the country. A one possession loss.
Yeah,
you don't think they can make a case that, hey, we get
no doubt about it.
Of course they can. So it's just all whenever you have commit, like I say, it's figure skating. It's people looking and judging. It ain't a real competition.
10 or was it a 9.5? True. All right, well, flipping it a little bit. Speaking of tournaments.
Oh, yeah, we got one tonight, right?
You got the in-season tournament going on in the NBA, and so here's the John. Here shows you too the ridiculousness of this in-season tournament, because you have an in-season tournament going on, but you still got regular season games playing.
I'm still confused as to what this tournament is for. I don't understand what
it's all publicity or something. Two things. Publicity and trying to drive a force of bringing a team to Vegas.
Yeah. Which I don't know why they don't have a team in Vegas.
And it's generating money for the league that they didn't get normally in this spot.
Yeah, and but again, that's everything is generated by that dollar bill. It's like,
our boy said it himself, right? LeBron said, look, he go 500,000, not bad.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll take it. $500,000 just for this I would take it
Right,
too. But I'm just saying,
right.
it just every it, see, but people don't realize these type when the dollar figures are what they are. You don't think that has anything to do with these decisions? And you don't think you if ESPN is saying if ESPN is shelling out all of this money for the broadcast rights to the SEC, you don't think they're gonna go and they're gonna have some influence in that room as to what teams get in that play? I'm just saying. You don't
Yeah.
think if the NBA, if ABC and TNT and anybody else who broadcasts these NBA games are paying billions, not millions, billions of dollars
Yeah.
to you don't think an executive from ABC is going to call the league office and say, "Hey, we paying y'all billions of dollars to watch these games, to broadcast these games. Don't give us the Sacramento
Well, and
Kings
you
versus the Indiana Pacers. We ain't trying to
well,
see that in the finals."
and again, is on a seesaw now, right? Because they know eventually, eventually all of these stuff is going to end up streaming because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where we're going now.
yeah,
Even your movie industry now, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and nothing big at the theaters. Everything is on
It's
Prime or Netflix, right?
Netflix and Amazon. They're huge. They're threatening the business model of going to
Of
the
movies,
movie
yeah,
theaters. Absolutely. You
yeah.
got
So
movies now that are
again,
being released
and
exclusively on these streaming services.
and then again, as anything else goes, eventually we the consumers are going to pay the price for it, right? They're going
Of
to hit us
course.
with for
Of course.
it, right? Because
Of
if
course.
if a movie ticket is $20 and I'm watching it because I have a subscription for $12.99. Oh, they're gonna make up that
Of course.
$7 one
Well,
cent.
no, look, it's not just the ticket you stand to lose, but you go in there and it's $15 for a tub of popcorn and,
Yeah,
and $7 for a candy bar, and you know what I'm saying?
correct.
They
All
stand
that.
to lose all of that.
Well, but again, the industry, the top heads, they ain't worried about the theater concession. They don't
Well,
care about that.
I'm saying the theater concessions
The
should be the
theaters will be
ones.
shut. Yeah.
They
Well,
should be the ones that's worried.
whoever's on that, they better come up with something
Yeah, because
because they're gonna feel that hit. Because right now, there's really only one, well, two, right? Hoyts and AMC, right?
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Because
AMC.
what's the name was running pretty good, but they shut down a lot of theaters. Bowtie.
Both time. What about the one?
Yeah.
Which one's the Magic Johnson's?
Who
Didn't
was
he
he?
invest?
I think Magic might have been AMC, I think.
AMC. Okay. Okay.
I believe.
Yeah,
I
because
believe.
those are the two major ones. I don't really see
Yeah,
any other
that's it,
brand.
really.
I
All
don't
the
see any other
smaller
brand.
ones are going by the board.
But I just think it's people's changing habits, which I get it. Things change, and I'm not somebody that
Yeah.
stands in the way of progress. And there are always going to be casualties to
Well,
progress.
here's the thing too. I don't know how what measures they do for their projections, but um, sure, you had a hype in the last 4 years because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right? We were home. People needed things to watch, but
Yep.
so that's why your numbers went up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why you
So
had the stock of companies like Zoom and StreamYard, which we doing right
correct,
now. Those
StreamYard,
they
yeah,
went through the roof. It went through
right,
the roof because people was at home.
right,
And
because
so,
people was at home.
but I think a part COVID kind of changed the world permanently. I don't think it'll ever go back to what it
Oh
was,
no, oh
completely
no,
what
oh
it
no,
was
oh no,
pre-COVID.
because there's too much of this to lose.
Yeah,
Go back
yeah.
to
Well, the
go back to
operating
Flintstone way.
think about it. I mean, the operating costs of
Yeah,
these buildings. I work for a company, and I'm a completely remote employee. All they had to do was send me a computer, and you know, I had to have my own internet service. I They don't have an office that have to pay lights and gas and
Right,
and you
right.
know, heat
Heat,
in the
yeah, no doubt,
wintertime, and you
no
know what I'm
doubt,
saying? So
no
their
doubt.
profits are going, they're getting the same amount of
And
production
so
from me.
whoever leases to them, they
Yeah.
got to come up with
These
something.
buildings, these buildings are going like
Yeah,
look at the malls. Malls are
yeah,
dying. I don't know how they're doing in New York, but here in Michigan, these
yeah,
malls are dying. We've
yeah.
already shut down Eastland on
Well,
the
think
east
about it.
side,
When you have
Northland.
John, when you have Sears,
Yeah,
right? Uh
huge
Christmas
brand
tree
name,
shop,
huge
right?
brand names.
Right. And no, those were what you call what they call those type stores for malls. Oh,
Department stores.
no, but they had a name to it that uh connects them as being big, because they were the in store, like
Well, they
our
were the
mall.
major draws. Yeah,
Right,
they help
right.
bring traffic in for
That's
the
what people,
smaller
right.
stores.
People went to the mall, but they were going because they were going to Sears and then
Mm-hmm.
walk to the other end. That's why if you notice, uh Big N, Anchor, well, yeah, okay, Anchors. That's right, Mom. That's right. Because what they did is the malls in between the anchor stores.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Right.
Well,
So
they
our,
strategically placed the big
yeah,
stores
oh yeah.
opposite sides
All
of the mall,
strategic.
so you can
Yeah.
walk through and walk past all those other
Correct.
stores.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
money, man. It's money. It's money.
Mall is awesome.
And
Marketing,
what
marketing to
I
the
get the
best.
marketing. It's just that now that it's showing its ugly head in sports, and that's what it just
Well,
makes it seem
here's the
like
thing.
it's not real
Well,
competition anymore.
here's the thing. It's just what it is just uh your understanding. Your understanding is opening to what's really been happening all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all.
Maybe it's been, like I say, maybe it's been happening all the time, and I just haven't been aware of it. But
Right.
it's just so blatant now, and it's just so
Oh
obvious
yeah.
now. I
Yeah.
mean, all of the behind the scenes influencing, and you can't tell me that they didn't have any influence over that college football committee. I'll go to my grave
Oh
believing it.
yeah. I mean, come
I'll
on.
go to, and
And
that's
and
unfortunate.
here's the sad part too. The weekend of the championships are the only weekend that the committee actually comes together to watch
Yeah,
games together.
yeah, yeah. All they do is box score. That's all they do is look at the box scores. And I'm like, how
So
will you have people
so
making these
who
types
yeah
of
who
decisions?
I have this much weight, but I may not be account. You may be that committee member who watch all the games. Me, I'll catch them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show up the weekend of the tournament, because it's free, and I ain't
Mm-hmm.
gotta pay nothing. They gonna fly me in for that, give me a room. But I ain't gonna sit around all day, and I got other things to do. You got people on the committee like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just people,
And I realize this is where
you
we are
know.
now. This is this it's like trying to put toothpaste back into a tube. It's impossible. Once it's out, it's out.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you can't get out, you can't put it
Uh,
back now. But I just, coming from where I
cam,
came from,
camel
it's just
going
really,
through the eye of a needle, needle's
you know
eye.
what that's just where we are now. And I it's unfortunate because much of the pure, I'm a purist. I'm a sports purist. I love the competition. I love the rivalries. I love the matchups. And all of this stuff is being destroyed for the pursuit of that almighty dollar, for no other reason than to maximize profits. You know why Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA is joining the Big Ten? You know why?
Wait, wait,
Because
wait.
of money.
Mom just posted. She said, cut the toothpaste open.
Yeah, that's that. Well, Mom, listen, Mom, that's the
Well,
only way it's gonna get
actually,
back
Paul,
in.
that's what happened because it's already been cut over because it done exploded out now.
Yeah, it's
We
just
you
it's
got a
out there now. It's
major
out
mess.
there. And it's unfortunate because now you're ruining one of the greatest traditions. And I'm not just talking about Michigan, Ohio State. I'm just saying you are ruining the sport that we grew up and love. And I hate to sound like to get off my lawn gun. I hate to sound like that. But
He says it.
some stuff
He
should be
says
worth
this every
preserving.
week.
I'm saying
He
some
did.
stuff should be worth preserving. It shouldn't, everything shouldn't be sacrificed in the name of profit. Some stuff should be said, it should be some stuff where you say, okay, listen, we're gonna leave this alone. This we're not gonna touch. You know what I'm saying? But no, nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing.
You turned 50 last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm 51. I'll be 52
Okay. So
2024.
it's going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just showing that he's part of the 50 club now,
I'm
people. That's
here.
what this.
I'm here, bro. I'm here. I'm here. I'm just saying, man, it's unfortunate that we're seeing this shift. And in 20 years now, it ain't gonna make it from now. It ain't gonna make a difference.
Well, again,
People,
you'll never get back the passion,
that's sad.
right, and the drama that was built up in the past. Just like
Yeah.
you said, I
All
agree with you. I mean,
listen, you don't, and even when you go into all of these sports betting apps
yeah,
and all of this stuff, you don't, all of this stuff affects the game, man. It does.
yeah,
You can't convince
every
me that it don't.
aspect. No, it's true.
You can't convince me that it
True.
don't. And so this is what we're left with. And it's unfortunate.
All right, well, big game tomorrow night. NBC, right? You got
Eagles and the Cowboys.
Philly coming to Dallas, right? This is for the division. This is the division championship tomorrow.
If Dallas loses this game,
Dallas lose, Philly take the division.
Forget about the division. But I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Philly is I think Dallas is the second best team in the NFC behind the San Francisco 49ers, regardless of what Philly does. I don't Philly has not looked the same. They don't.
No, they have not the same as last year.
No. And they're eking out these wins. Teetering. And I think their record is a bit of a mirage because they don't look the same.
Not being biased, but Dallas should have beat them in Philly. They didn't have so many penalties.
Dallas because if you notice Dallas's schedule, they've beaten the team. What is their best?
Yeah, they beat who's in front of them other than Arizona.
Seattle. I think Seattle is probably their best win this year.
Yeah. Only 500 win.
Yeah.
500 and above.
This is as important for Dallas, not just for them for their position in the division, but y'all got to prove that y'all can beat a good team.
So it's a what's the word you used earlier? Picture. It's a picture game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people say, I'm not going to believe them until they beat a Philly or again, let's not forget though, people, when the playoffs come, everything starts over.
Yeah.
And so
throw the records
as far as winning the division and getting the bye, right? Which you're not even really promised unless you have the best record, but you gotta win tomorrow. Gotta win.
Yeah, but I don't. For certain teams,
Miami, you got Buffalo, you got Miami,
you got Detroit.
Right? So you got Detroit.
Detroit's coming to town.
End up with Washington, and doesn't matter how bad they are, it's still rivalry.
But if you remember, I picked Dallas at the beginning of
Yeah, you
the
did.
football season. I
What
picked
what
Dallas.
which may have been a curse, people, but we he did predict.
Oh wow, 9-3. What a curse! What a curse! 9-3. But I think a lot of it hinges on the production of Dak Prescott, and I think he's played
Oh,
exceptionally
he's been
well.
outstanding.
He's been
Outstanding.
outstanding these last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
But
outstanding.
you got to do it against a Philly or a 49ers
Yeah,
or
no
even a
doubt.
D
Well,
or even to a lesser
and
degree of the Detroit.
and and actually, Dak played well in Philly.
Yeah,
Just those
yeah.
penalties, man. The
They could have won
penalties were
that game.
terrible.
They definitely could have
Yeah,
won that game.
I mean, and uh, uh, let's face it. They had the game. The game was theirs to win. They're at the
Mm-hmm.
23.
Up, you frozen. And get you a better connection.
Offside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you beat you beat yourself. You had the game in your hands. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
So you got to step up.
What did
That's
Michael
all.
Parsons say after the game? He was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll see them again." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did.
And
He did.
I think Dallas is much. I'm gonna tell you, it's this don't sound crazy. Dallas is in the same position that Michigan is in. You
Pretty
gonna have
much.
every
You got to
opportunity
you
to
got to do
prove.
it now. This
You
is your
gotta
time
do
now.
it now.
This is your time now. Yes, I agree
This
with
is
you.
the time. If you gotta do it
This
now.
is your time. And
So
and it don't care what nobody else do.
yeah,
You do what you got
I
to do.
think they got one of the most talented rosters in the NFL.
They
I
do.
but it's gonna all come down to that number 4. That's
And I will say too, was last week, they was killing what's the name, right? Deron Bland, they was killing him.
mm-hmm.
But but what he do? Stepped up with a big interception, and
Yep.
so that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Because
No.
we don't have no linebackers, right? We don't have no linebackers.
No. Your
Our
safeties and
linebacker play
your secondary is pretty good.
secondary playing
And
well because
obviously
even our Bell and what's their name, they're actually safeties, but they play kind of like linebackers. So, but you got to be solid tomorrow against Philly, because they're gonna,
yeah, Philly
they are
got
good. They're not like they were last year. Well,
they got exposed
and
last week.
no, nobody really said, but Jalen's playing hurt. He's not the same Jalen.
Something's wrong with Jalen Hurts. It's just
It was his legs, his knee. His knee bothered, no doubt.
I think so
Jalen,
much of it is glossed over because of their record.
Jalen is playing this year kind of like Dak played the last 2 years because he's thinking about that knee. Dak came back from that ankle injury, and it was in. I'm telling you, it gets in your mind.
Well, that's the thing with Dak. I mean, he played. That was a catastrophic injury he was coming off of.
Yeah, come on.
You can't help but think about that,
John,
when you're on the field. But
you're talking to knee replacement Herm over here.
Right, right. But I think he's gotten past that. I think he's
I think
his confidence level. I don't think his
confidence level is up. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I don't think it's ever been higher. But
no,
again,
this
would go a long way.
Prior to that injury,
this would go a long
injury. He was balling.
Well, if tomorrow's game, this will go a long way of silencing the critics of the Dallas Cowboys. If they can win this game.
I don't think you can silence. The only thing to silence their critics is Super Bowl win.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
they'll pick them apart,
But I think it would be a good boost for their morale.
When you're part of the Cowboys, this is what you sign up for.
Yeah,
that's just it.
Yeah, I have them winning this game tomorrow by 10. I think they'll
10. Wow. Okay.
I think they'll win it. I think they'll win it by 2 possessions because it's in Dallas, and Philly just don't. That game shocked me last week, and I
Oh,
knew the
me
49ers
too.
was
I mean, I
good,
didn't, I didn't
but
see that beating. I didn't
I
see
didn't
that beating
expect them to
them at
get
all.
bullied like that in their
Yeah, me
building.
either.
That
I
was
mean,
that was
that looked like the
They got manhandled.
Dallas
They
game.
couldn't tackle. Debo Samuels did whatever he wanted to
Ever
do.
he wanted. McCaffrey. I mean,
McCaffrey,
they
they
just
lead the
blusted him.
lead in yard.
Yeah.
Debo is one of the league leaders in yards after catch. You
After
can't
the catch.
tackle him. He's
Yeah.
like
Well, and that's the thing. The 49ers don't beat you long.
no. Dink and dunk, yards after catch.
Dink and dunk and bang, yards
And
after
boom.
the catch. Yeah.
So they and Brock Purdy is playing great. I mean,
Well, I don't know. You know, I should have did it last week. I went with your guy last week for my fantasy, and he got me 20-something points, but Purdy had 35 points last week.
Wow.
Fan, I'm like, you know what? I'm starting Brock this week. Now watch this week. Oh,
yeah, you
all right,
good to start Brock.
Well, family. It's time for us to go. Time is up. Our boy Ron had a family event. I told these guys, look, no family events till after 12. Gary, Ron. I was gonna have APJ on today too, but he had something going on too. I'm like, you got nothing till after 12 o'clock.
Right.
Tell the family.
Keep that time slot open.
Got a show to do. If he's not traveling, right? We got a show to do. All right, well, but we're just kidding. We know life. There's more things going on than sports chat. But we love you. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody that tuned in, we love you. Come on back every Saturday. Lord, say the same here on Soul Sister Network. 11 o'clock. We'll be here with Sports Chat. Let's go, Lakers. Let's get this chip tonight. I don't care. If you're there, you might as well win it.
You might as well win it. I'll be watching.
Might as well win. All right, everybody. Take it easy.
Peace.
Be blessed.
Yes,
John,
sir.
Take it easy. All right.
Good show.